The transport rattled as it descended through Haven's Edge atmosphere, and Marcus Webb gripped his seat restraints with white knuckles. 3 months since the court-martial cleared him of wrongdoing in the Kepler Station incident. 3 months since he watched his squad burn while following orders that came too late. The brass said he was a hero. The nightmares said otherwise. Haven's Edge sprawled below him, a frontier colony where the Terran Federation met the wider galaxy. It was the kind of posting where broken soldiers went to fade away, and Marcus knew exactly what he was. Broken, used up. 32 years old, with the eyes of someone twice that age, the spaceport hummed with activity as Marcus shouldered his duffel and stepped into the orange-tinted sunlight of an alien world. Haven's Edge orbited a binary star system, casting everything in perpetual sunset hues. Colonial prefabs, mixed with elegant alien architecture, humans and various species moving together in organized chaos. Marcus headed for the military outpost on foot, ignoring the automated shuttles. Walking helped quiet the voices in his head. The explosion hit 3 blocks away. Marcus dropped his duffel and ran toward the smoke, his body moving on instinct, while his mind screamed at him to stop. A civilian transport had crashed into the market district, flames licking up its sides. People scattered in all directions, screaming in a dozen languages. Then Marcus heard it, a child's cry cutting through the chaos. He vaulted a collapsed vendor stall and spotted her. A small alien girl, maybe 7 in human years, trapped beneath a section of the transport's wing. Her skin shimmered with an opalescent quality, shifting between pale gold and soft lavender. Blood, startlingly crimson against her iridescent complexion, flowed from a gash on her forehead. Her large amber eyes found Marcus, filled with terror and pain. "Hey, I've got you," Marcus said, his voice rough but steady. He assessed the situation quickly. The wing section weighed maybe 300 pounds, pinning her left leg. Fuel leaked from the transport, and small arms fire crackled from somewhere inside the wreckage. This wasn't just an accident. Marcus braced himself and lifted. His shoulders screamed in protest, muscles burning as he raised the wing high enough for the girl to crawl free. She whimpered, dragging herself forward. That's when Marcus saw the gunmen emerging from the transport. 3 figures in mismatched armor with weapons. Drawn pirates. Haven's Edge had been experiencing raids for months. Marcus dropped the wing and scooped the girl into his arms just as weapons fire scorched the ground where they'd been standing. He ran, zigzagging through the panicked crowd, the girl clutching his neck with surprising strength. A bolt caught him in the shoulder, spinning him sideways. Marcus grunted, kept moving, his enhanced combat implants flooding his system with adrenaline blockers and coagulants. He ducked into an alley, setting the girl down gently against a wall. Blood soaked through his shirt from the shoulder wound, but he'd had worse. Much worse. The girl stared up at him, her amber eyes wide and luminous. She whispered something in a language Marcus didn't recognize, musical and soft. "You're okay now," Marcus told her, though he wasn't sure she understood. He ripped part of his shirt and wrapped it around her bleeding forehead with practiced efficiency. His hands, which had trembled every morning for 3 months, were perfectly steady now. Colonial security forces arrived, surrounding the crashed transport. Marcus stayed with the girl until medical teams reached them. A medic approached, a young woman with the efficiency of military training. "You need treatment," she said, eyeing his shoulder. "The kid first," Marcus replied flatly as they loaded the girl onto a stretcher. She reached out and grasped Marcus's hand. Her touch sent an unexpected warmth through him, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. She spoke again in her melodic language, and this time the medic's translator device caught it. She says, "Thank you, Protector." She says you have the heart of starlight. Marcus felt something crack inside his chest, something that had been frozen solid since Kepler Station. He squeezed her small hand gently before they took her away. Only then did he let the medic examine his wounds. The shoulder would need surgery, and he'd taken shrapnel in his side without realizing it. As they prepped him for the medical transport, Marcus watched the alien girl disappear into the hospital shuttle. For the first time in 3 months, he felt something other than emptiness. He felt needed, worthy of the breath in his lungs. He didn't know yet that the girl's name was Neva. or that she was the younger sister of an ambassador who would change everything. He didn't know that his simple act of courage would ripple across star systems. He only knew that for 5 minutes. He'd been the soldier he used to be. The soldier who saved lives instead of watching them end. Marcus woke to soft blue lighting and the gentle hum of medical equipment. The military hospital on Haven's Edge was state-of-the-art, a necessity on a frontier world where danger lurked in every shadow. His shoulder throbbed despite the pain, and his mouth tasted like synthetic antibiotics. Wake at last. Sergeant Marcus turned his head to find a woman standing beside his bed, and for a moment, he forgot how to breathe. She was a Lari, the same species as the child he'd rescued. But where Neva had been small and fragile, this woman radiated quiet power. Her skin held that same opalescent quality, but deeper, richer, shifting between warm amber and deep rose gold. Her eyes were larger than human, slanted upward, colored like molten honey with flecks of starlight. Silver-white hair fell in waves past her shoulders, adorned with delicate braids woven with crystals that caught the light. She wore flowing robes in deep burgundy and gold, cut in a style that managed to be both modest and devastatingly beautiful. The fabric draped across curves that would haunt his dreams, cinched at her waist with an intricate belt of precious metal. When she moved closer, Marcus caught her scent, something like jasmine mixed with ozone, alien and intoxicating. "I am Ambassador Sienna of House Valeris," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that made his name sound like music. "You saved my sister Neva from the pirate raid. I came to offer my gratitude." Marcus struggled to sit up, wincing. "Just doing what anyone would do, ma'am." "Anyone." Sienna's lips curved into a smile that made his heart stutter. "The security footage shows you took enemy fire while carrying her to safety. You refused treatment until she was cared for. This is not the action of just anyone, Marcus Webb." Hearing his name in her voice did something strange to his insides. Marcus cleared his throat, suddenly aware that he wore only a medical gown and probably looked like hell. "How is she, Neva?" Sienna's expression softened, and Marcus saw genuine affection there. "Recovering well, thanks to you. She asks about her protector constantly. She wishes to see you, if you're willing." "Of course," Marcus said immediately. Over the following days, Marcus found himself with regular visitors. Neva would arrive with her caretakers. Chattering in broken English, she was rapidly learning, bringing him drawings she'd made of their rescue. But it was Sienna's visits that Marcus began anticipating with an intensity that scared him. She would come in the evenings. After her diplomatic duties ended, they would talk for hours, about everything and nothing. Sienna told him about Alari culture, about her homeworld with its crystal forests and singing rivers. Marcus found himself sharing things he'd never told anyone. About his childhood in the Detroit Underground, about losing his mother to the colony wars, about the weight of command and the cost of survival. "Your people value strength above all," Sienna observed one evening, sitting in the chair beside his bed. The lights had dimmed automatically, creating an intimate atmosphere. "But you carry your strength like a burden. Strength isn't much good if you can't protect the people who matter," Marcus said quietly, the ghosts of Kepler Station whispering in his memory. Sienna reached out and placed her hand over his. Her touch sent electricity racing up his arm. Alari's skin was warmer than human and incredibly soft. "You protected Neva. You protected dozens of civilians during that raid. Why is it so difficult to see your own worth?" Marcus looked at their joined hands, her opalescent skin against his scarred brown flesh. "Because I've failed before. Because good soldiers died while I lived." "Perhaps," Sienna said softly, moving her chair closer, "you lived because your story wasn't finished." Her amber eyes held his. And Marcus saw something there that made his pulse race, attraction, curiosity, and something deeper he didn't dare name. The moment stretched between them, charged with possibility. Marcus became acutely aware of every detail, the way her hair caught the blue medical lighting, the slight parting of her lips, the graceful column of her throat. He wanted to touch her, to trace the shifting colors of her skin, to discover if she tasted as exotic as she smelled. "Ambassador," he started, his voice rougher than intended. "Sienna," she corrected, leaning closer. "When we're alone, please call me Sienna." "Sienna," Marcus repeated, and the name felt sacred on his tongue. This, whatever this is, it's complicated. I'm human. Your Allery nobility? I'm a broken soldier with more nightmares than prospects. You're a man who ran toward danger to save a child, Sienna countered. A man who bleeds for others without hesitation. A man who, despite his wounds, makes me feel things I've never felt before. Marcus's breath caught. What kind of things? Instead of answering, Sienna stood and leaned over him, her face inches from his. This close, he could see the intricate patterns in her irises, like fractals of light. Her hand came up to cup his jaw, her thumb brushing his cheek with aching gentleness. Things that terrify me, she whispered. Things that make me question everything I thought I knew about duty and destiny. Marcus was cleared for light duty after 2 weeks, though his shoulder still ached when it rained. Haven's Edge had no shortage of rain. He'd been assigned to colony defense coordination, a desk job that would have bored him senseless if not for the fact that Sienna worked in the adjacent diplomatic complex. They fell into a pattern. Stolen moments between obligations. Coffee in the commissary where Sienna would laugh at his terrible jokes. Walks through the colony's botanical gardens where alien flowers bloomed in impossible colors. Late nights in the observation deck, watching ships come and go against the backdrop of stars. Each encounter drew them closer, building tension that crackled like static electricity. Marcus would catch himself watching the way Sienna moved, the graceful flow of her gestures, the way she tucked her hair behind her delicately pointed ear when concentrating. She would touch him casually, a hand on his arm, fingers brushing his as she passed him a datapad, and each contact left him burning. One evening, Marcus found Sienna on the observation deck alone, standing before the massive viewport. The binary suns were setting, painting her in shades of orange and gold. She wore a simpler outfit tonight, fitted pants and a flowing top that revealed the elegant lines of her shoulders. Couldn't sleep? Marcus asked, moving to stand beside her. Thinking, Sienna replied. About home. About Neva. About choices that seem impossible. Marcus understood impossible choices. Want to talk about it? Sienna turned to face him fully, and in the sunset light, she was devastating. My father expects me to return home soon, to accept a political marriage that will strengthen our house. It's been arranged since childhood. Something cold settled in Marcus's stomach. Oh, I don't love him, Sienna continued, stepping closer. I've met him 3 times. He's a good man, I suppose, but there's no fire there. No connection. Nothing like, she paused, her eyes searching his face, nothing like what I feel when I'm with you. Marcus's heart thundered. Sienna, I'm nobody. An ex-soldier barely holding it together. You deserve someone whole, someone who can give you the life you're meant for. Perhaps I'm tired of living the life I'm meant for, Sienna said fiercely. She placed both hands on his chest, and Marcus could feel his heart pounding against her palms. Perhaps I want to choose my own path. Perhaps I want you. Marcus couldn't help himself anymore. He cupped her face in his hands, marveling at the warmth of her skin, the way her color shifted deeper at his touch. You're sure? Because if I kiss you, I don't think I'll be able to stop wanting you. Then don't stop, Sienna whispered, and closed the distance between them. Her lips were softer than anything Marcus had ever known, warm and sweet. The kiss started gentle, tentative, to people from different worlds testing possibilities. Then Sienna made a small sound of need in the back of her throat, and Marcus was lost. He deepened the kiss, one hand sliding into her silken hair, while the other moved to her waist, pulling her flush against him. Sienna responded with equal hunger, her body molding to his, her hands gripping his shoulders. She tasted like starlight and promise, like every good thing Marcus had thought he'd never deserve. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Marcus rested his forehead against hers. This is going to cause problems. Probably, Sienna agreed, but she was smiling. I find I don't particularly care. They stood wrapped in each other's arms as darkness fell outside. For the first time since Kepler's station, Marcus felt something like hope building in his chest. Maybe he could have this. Maybe he deserved this one perfect thing. The alarm shattered the moment. Red lights flooded the observation deck as the colony-wide emergency system activated. Marcus's military training kicked in immediately. He pulled out his comm unit, Sienna doing the same. All personnel, 2 defensive stations. Multiple hostile vessels approaching Haven's Edge. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Marcus's jaw tightened. The pirates were back, and this time they'd brought friends. Through the viewport, he could see ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Their profiles aggressive and bristling with weapons. "I have to go," Marcus said. Already moving toward the exit, Sienna grabbed his arm. "Promise me, you'll come back." Marcus looked at her, at this incredible woman who'd somehow seen past his scars to something worth wanting. He kissed her hard and quick. "I promise. Keep Neva safe. Get to the shelters." Marcus, Sienna called as he reached the door. When he turned back, her eyes were blazing with determination. "My people are warriors too. The Illyri will stand with Haven's Edge." Marcus nodded once, then ran toward his duty, leaving his heart behind on the observation deck. The battle for Haven's Edge raged for 6 hours. Marcus coordinated ground defenses, while colonial ships engaged the pirates in orbit. The raiders had come in force this time, clearly intending to take the colony. What they hadn't counted on was the Illyri. Ambassador Sienna hadn't been exaggerating. The Illyri refugees, grateful for Haven's Edge sanctuary, proved to be formidable fighters. They moved with liquid grace, their enhanced reflexes and natural connection to energy fields making them devastating in combat. Sienna herself led a contingent, and Marcus watched through tactical feeds as she fought with elegant brutality, defending her adopted home. But the pirates had numbers and desperation. They pushed hard toward the civilian sectors, and Marcus found himself leading a counterattack to protect the shelters. That's when he saw them, a squad of raiders moving toward the medical facility where non-combatants had gathered. Where Neva was sheltering with other children, Marcus didn't hesitate. He assembled a quick reaction team and moved to intercept. The firefight was brutal in close quarters. Marcus took down 3 raiders before taking a plasma bolt to his side that sent him sprawling. His armor absorbed most of it, but the impact broke ribs. Through pain-hazed vision, he saw the raider captain advancing on the medical facility entrance. Behind that door were dozens of innocents, children. Marcus forced himself to his feet. Raising his weapon despite his body's screaming protests, the raider turned, weapon rising. Marcus fired first, but his shot went wide, his injuries affecting his aim. The raider's returned fire caught him in the chest, and Marcus went down hard. His armor was breached, blood spreading fast beneath him. This was it. Just like Kepler Station, dying while others counted on him. Then Sienna was there, moving like flowing water, her movements almost too fast to follow. She disarmed the raider with a strike that shattered his weapon, then disabled him with precise blows. Other Illyri warriors swept past, securing the area. Sienna dropped to her knees beside Marcus, her hands immediately going to his wounds. Her face was spattered with blood, her elegant robes torn, but her eyes were fierce and focused. "Stay with me, Marcus. Don't you dare leave me now," Marcus managed through bloody teeth. "Is she safe?" "Yes, beloved, she's safe. You saved her again." Tears streamed down Sienna's face, leaving trails of light across her opalescent skin. "Now, let me save you." Marcus felt himself being lifted, carried. The world blurred into fragments, pain and light, and Sienna's voice singing something in her native language. He was vaguely aware of being brought somewhere, of gentle hands removing his ruined armor, of warmth spreading through him that felt like sunlight. When Marcus's vision cleared, he found himself in a space he didn't recognize. Soft light emanated from crystals embedded in the walls, casting everything in gentle radiance. He lay on something that felt like water, but held him firm. Sienna knelt beside him, her hands pressed to his bare chest. She was glowing. Her skin had transformed into pure luminescence. Patterns of light flowing beneath the surface, like rivers of starlight. The crystals in her hair blazed bright, and her eyes had become wells of pure amber fire. Around them, other Illyri formed a circle, all glowing with that same ethereal light. their voices raised in harmonic song. Marcus felt power flowing into him, ancient and profound. It was like being touched by the universe itself, energy that knit flesh and bone, that pushed back the darkness he'd carried for so long. The pain faded, replaced by euphoria that made him gasp. This is the soul binding. Sienna's voice echoed in his mind, though her lips didn't move. Our most sacred healing. I share my life force with you, Marcus. I bind part of my soul to yours. You will never truly be alone again. Marcus wanted to protest, to say this was too much, but the rightness of it overwhelmed him. Their bond clicked into place like the final piece of a puzzle. And suddenly he could feel her love, her fear, her fierce determination. She was inside him, part of him, and he was part of her. The ritual lasted hours, though time felt meaningless. When it finally ended, Marcus's wounds had healed completely, leaving only faint silver scars that gleamed like alloy metal. Sienna collapsed into his arms, exhausted but smiling. You're insane, Marcus whispered, holding her close. You bound yourself to me permanently. Yes, Sienna agreed, snuggling against his chest. Among my people, this is deeper than marriage. Our souls are linked now, Marcus Webb. Where you go, I follow. Your pain is mine. Your joy is mine. Forever. Marcus tilted her face up, seeing his future reflected in her amber eyes. I love you. I don't know when it happened, but I love you more than I knew was possible. I know, Sienna smiled. I can feel it. The bond goes both ways. Your love fills me like starlight. Marcus kissed her then, pouring everything he felt into that kiss. Around them, the alloys sang softly, blessing their union. Outside, Haven's Edge celebrated victory. But here in this sacred space, two souls from different worlds had become one. 2 weeks after the battle, Haven's Edge had transformed. The failed pirate raid had proven the colony's strength, attracting more settlers and trade. The Alori refugees were no longer just visitors. They were citizens, integrated into every aspect of colonial life. And Marcus Webb had become something he'd never expected, a symbol of unity between species. The ceremony took place under Haven's Edge twin moons. In a garden, the Alari had grown using their unique connection to living things. Crystalline flowers bloomed in impossible colors, trees sang soft harmonics in the evening breeze, and hundreds of beings from dozens of species gathered to witness something unprecedented. Marcus stood at the center in dress uniform, his medals polished and displayed. Beside him, Sienna wore traditional Alari ceremonial robes, a masterpiece of flowing fabric that shifted through every color imaginable. Her hair was adorned with living flowers that responded to her emotions, currently blazing brilliant gold. Neva, fully healed and radiant in a child's version of ceremonial robes, stood between them, holding both their hands. She'd barely left Marcus's side since the battle, and he discovered that having a 7-year-old Alari shadow was both exhausting and wonderful. The Alari High Council had arrived from their homeworld for this occasion. The eldest council member, a woman whose skin glowed with accumulated centuries of wisdom, stepped forward. She spoke in the Alari language, her words translated for the crowd. Marcus Webb of Earth, you have bled for the children of Alari. You have stood against darkness with courage that transcends species. You have bound your soul to one of our own, accepting the sacred responsibility of soul bond. For these reasons and more, the Alari people offer you a title not given to an outsider in 10,000 years. She produced a circlet of living crystal, pulsing with inner light. We name you Protector of Light, Guardian of the Broken, Champion of Alari. You are brother, defender, and family. Your name will be sung in our halls forever. As she placed the circlet on Marcus's head, he felt something shift in his chest. The bond with Sienna flared bright, and through it he felt the collective warmth of an entire species embracing him. For a soldier who'd felt alone for so long, it was overwhelming. The crowd erupted in cheers, humans and aliens alike celebrating this bridge between worlds. But Marcus only had eyes for Sienna, who was crying happy tears, her skin cycling through colors that spoke of joy and love and fierce pride. When the ceremony ended and the celebration began, Marcus and Sienna slipped away to a quiet corner of the garden. They settled on a bench beneath a tree that hummed with bioluminescence. Neva, having finally been convinced to go play with other children, "No regrets?" Marcus asked, pulling Sienna close against his side. "Only that I didn't find you sooner," Sienna replied, resting her head on his shoulder. Through their bond, Marcus felt the absolute truth of her words. "My father has accepted our union, by the way. Reluctantly, but he's accepted it. The political marriage has been dissolved. And you're okay with giving up your position? Your place in Allery's society?" Sienna laughed, the sound like bells. "Marcus, I'm the first Allari in 10 millennia to soul bond with another species. I've become more important politically than I ever would have through arranged marriage. The council is already discussing creating a permanent embassy here, with us as the first ambassadors. U.S. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You didn't think you'd escape that easily, did you?" Sienna teased. "You're Allery now, beloved. That comes with responsibilities." Besides, she turned serious, cupping his face in her hands. "Where you go, I go. Your mission is my mission. Your home is my home." Marcus kissed her softly, marveling that this was his life now. 3 months ago, he'd been a broken soldier with nothing to live for. Now he had Sienna, had Neva's adoration, had a purpose that felt worthy of the second chance he'd been given. "I was thinking," Marcus said when they parted, "about what you said during the ritual. About my calling being to protect the broken. There are a lot of broken people on Haven's Edge. Veterans like me, refugees like your people, colonists running from pasts they can't face. What are you proposing?" Sienna asked, though through their bond she already knew. "A training center. A place where broken people can learn to be strong again. Where humans and Allery teach each other. Where we turn pain into purpose." Marcus looked out at the garden, seeing potential everywhere. "We could do real good here, Sienna. Help people find what I found. Hope." Sienna's smile was radiant. "I think that's a beautiful dream. Let's build it together." They sat in comfortable silence, watching Haven's Edge's twin moons rise higher, painting everything in silver light. In the distance, music from the celebration drifted on the warm breeze. Neva's laughter rang out, pure and joyful. Marcus thought about the path that had brought him here. From Detroit's underground to the blood-soaked corridors of Kepler Station, from self-destruction to this moment of perfect peace, every scar, every nightmare, every moment of despair had led him to Sienna. To Neva, to a future brighter than any he'd imagined. "Thank you," Marcus said quietly. "For what?" Sienna asked. "For seeing something worth saving in a broken soldier. For believing I could be more than my mistakes. For loving me when I couldn't love myself." Sienna pulled him into a kiss that tasted of forever, of promises kept and futures built. When they parted, her eyes held the light of stars. "You were never broken, my beloved," she whispered. "You were just waiting to become whole. And now we heal together. We grow together. We build something beautiful from the ashes of what we were. That's what love does. It transforms. It renews. It saves. Under Haven's Edge, twin moons, in a garden of singing flowers. Two souls bound by blood and starlight held each other close. Behind them lay paths of pain and sacrifice. Before them stretched infinite possibilities. Adventures yet to come, lives yet to touch, broken souls yet to heal. Marcus Webb, the scarred soldier who'd bled to save an alien child, had found his purpose. He'd found his family. He'd found his home, and in Sienna's arms, he'd finally found peace. The end.